Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again. Hi! I'm glad you stopped by. I'm glad you pressed play. Spent a little time with me. The time of Absalom. Or is it Absalom's time? I don't know. By the end of the show, you may find out. This is one of those spiritual shows. Yeah. So, with the Bible and all that, I'm going to tell you a story about a father named David, a king that was after God's own heart, and a son who wanted the kingdom and took it. Talks about a generation that perhaps we're very familiar with today. Generation that perhaps is about to make war against the kingdom. This will make sense by the end of the show. I hope you buckled up, my friends, because you need to know this. You have to. I mean, why else would I be talking about it, right? Yeah, I know. It's one of them, it's one of those spiritual videos again. These are important ones. I think they are at least. It's going to be entertaining, a little enlightening, a little eye-opening. And there's a lot of stuff that went into getting me to talk about this. A lot of stuff. I didn't know what to talk about. Tuesday came and it went, and I still didn't know what to talk about. I continued to say, what is it that I should talk about?
What is it? What do I need to tell everyone? What is the most important thing that I should share this week?
I got nothing. So, at work, before filming this, which is also before work, that's why it's going to be quick, I looked at the clock. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to look at the clock, and whatever the time is, I'm going to go to the chapter. I'm going to go to the verse. And it was 10:17. So of course I look to 2 Samuel chapter 17. Now this is what gets my attention. Now if you're new to the channel, this isn't going to be as cool. But if you have been sticking around for a little while, if you smash that like button and you comment and you share and you subscribed and you come here every time, even though you're not notified, but now you're going to be, because I believe that there's going to be a shift that's going on YouTube. A lot of people are scared. Some big-time censorship stuff's coming down the pipe, and I've been affected by it. Whatever's going to be is going to be. Let's get back into this. So I open up to 2 Samuel chapter 17, and I am struck by 12,000. The number 12,000, like right off the bat. I was like, whoa, that's that number that so I said, let me read this. Let me look into this. And it led me down another path, with then there was another coincidence, which, just like, for example, I'll give you an example. How do I know I'm supposed to be talking about Absalom, right? And how do I know that this is important? Okay, well, not just because I looked at the time and it brought me there, but because of every other thing that happened throughout that day when I was at work to get me to be here talking to you right now before work again. Like, for example, I decided that I would do the whole, search. I did a search. I said, you know what, let me look up Absalom, and let me see if I'm really supposed to talk about Absalom. And you're probably like, who's Absalom already? Get to the point. All right? Patience, my friend. So I searched 24 hours ago, Absalom, and I found a show that I wrote 7 years ago today. You see that show with John Paul Jackson? God rest his soul. John Paul Jackson. I like John Paul. I talked to him. He was a dream interpreter. Shared some deep stuff with him too. He was kind of known as a prophet, right? Because I was the head writer for that show. And ironically, that on the day that I'm considering, should I talk about Absalom? Is this important? And it is now. Trust me, it is, right? I open up to 24 hours earlier to the place that I used to work at, Daystar, which, by the way, their studio was burned down. An arsonist burned it down. That was a big deal. But there's a reason for everything, right? So this coincidentally, that within 24 hours, they uploaded a show that I wrote and I produced. So crazy, right? Like, what are the chances that it's on the date that I'm doing, that I'm thinking, hey, I should do the Absalom show, and then boom, a show that I wrote something like 7 years ago is they uploaded on demand to their website, my old. So there's something to it, right? So let's get to the story. So there's this king. He's a great king. Can't give you the whole story about him, but he was known to be after God's own heart. He made some mistakes, okay? He made some mistakes. Committed adultery in a terrible way. You know, he had everything that God had promised him. He was so happy when he got the kingdom, right? He was so happy after all the stuff that he went through. He finally gets to the kingdom. He like danced naked down the streets. He wasn't ashamed of anything. And after being a king for a while, he ended up falling in love with somebody else. He didn't ask God to give it to him. He took it. He took Bathsheba and had relations with her. And because of it, his kingdom, God said he was going to yank the kingdom away. And he yanked the kingdom away through Absalom, his son. And David shouldn't have done that, you know? I mean, it's not just about he cheated, but, you know, he loved her, got her pregnant, and then said, you know what? Even though her husband was like the guy that was like David's most trusted, he like loved David so much, he wanted to sleep outside of his door to protect him. He was a soldier. David's like, yeah, I'm going to put you in the hottest part of the army. Yeah, where the battle's the worst, because you're going to die. You're going to die, and then I got your wife because I'm the king, right? God's man. Everybody's not perfect, right? So he made a mistake. God has to correct that. He corrects it by using Absalom, his son. Now, see, here's the thing, okay? Let's look at the two natures, because where I picked up in the story was when Absalom was about to make war with David, King David, who had already lost his kingdom. See, Absalom was his son. He was known to be a really good-looking guy. This guy was like drop-dead gorgeous, but he was so about his looks, and he was such like a spoiled guy, right? And you know, he just, you know, he was like so good-looking, and he had this great set of hair. He had this hair that he would actually powder with gold. And they said that when he was riding down the streets, that in his chariot, that it was like he was like the sun god himself, right? We know a lot of celebrities are like that. A lot of celebrities, right, with the glitter and the gold. Look at me, I'm so great. The kingdom is mine. It's the Absalom spirit, as they say. It's the spirit of selfishness, self-absorption, narcissism. Everything's got to be mine. I don't have to take responsibility for anything that I do wrong. And that was what Absalom did. His hair, right, which actually he cut it once a year. It was so great. It was like a big event. And when he cut his hair, because his hair was so great and he was so good looking, right, it like weighed like over 3 pounds. 3 pounds of like this powdered gold hair. But you see, there's symbolism there, because the hair is what man glories in. Hair is the outermost part of their being in the temporal world. It is the part of your temporal natural body that is furthest into this realm of the beast system. Hair is very symbolic of man being proud and like him, he's the guy, I'm the dude, right? So Samson got his strength from hair. It wasn't until he was balded that he ended up realizing how blind he really was. It's all symbolism. So this hair, which, by the way, down the road, after he steals the kingdom from his father, which is what he does. He steals the kingdom from his father, and he does it by flattery. He does it by bringing everybody in. He's like, oh, this is the way we're going to start do things. Kind of like what's going on online right now, right? You got this Absalom spirit like, no, we're, you know, if we're in charge of everything, we do everything right. We take care of you. That's what Absalom did. He was so jealous of his dad, right? He was such a little spoiled brat. And just so you know, this spirit is a spirit that's within us all. It's that spirit of Antichrist, if you will. It's just another story, how it's being told. And the fact that I opened up to the page where his partner, Ahithophel was his name, which, by the way, It's a goofy name. It means in Hebrew, my brother is foolish. You see, everything in Scripture has a deeper meaning. Ahithophel meant my brother is foolish. Ahithophel was one of King David's most trusted advisors, kind of like Judas, right? He was the one that kind of led the revolt. He was the one that got into Absalom's head that, let's start a civil war. Let's take the kingdom by force. And that's exactly what happened. All because, of course, David sinned. And David understood this. So his younger son, right? So one of the things that his younger son, after he did the kingdom, right? Now, Absalom should have been worthy of death. His dad didn't for his crimes against the kingdom and against his own father. And Absalom was like his dad's favorite, right? He loved Absalom. He thought he was the best. Most of his kids were kind of messed up, David's kids, which is, it's kind of like, it's very symbolic of the day that we're in today. Most of the people today are kind of jerks, right? Not really that cool. Not really that great with their gold hair and their one eyes, their Illuminati stuff, outfits, the 666s and the OK signs and ain't cool. You're not fire, as they say. What was I talking about? Ahithophel also advised Absalom after he took the kingdom to sleep with your dad. It's it's not one thing to just steal the kingdom from your dad, David, who was the man after God's own heart. God loved David, right? But he was a man of war. Still a man of war, you see? And what's interesting is when Absalom comes on the scene, it's actually preparing the way for the rule of Solomon, which is also kind of preparing the way for the rule of Christ. It's all symbolic. So the day that we're in right now is the day where it's not just look, Christ has been thrown out, all right? The truth has been thrown out. This system, YouTube, all that stuff. I had a dream the other night that I had, because I've been very stressed out, and I shouldn't be stressed out, but I'm just saddened that I can't reach more people because of, for whatever reason, I'm kind of lumped into this group of people, which really, I talk about the things they talk about, but I'm not, we're like each other, but I'm a little bit different. Right? Because this isn't really about scaring you guys. This is about telling you to wake up, right? Buckle up, get ready, start being happy, start living your life because a good day is coming. But to get there, you got to go through Absalom, the rise of Absalom. And Absalom's already in charge. But even though Absalom's kicked David out of the kingdom, okay? So even though David's on the run, hiding from his son, David knows, he's like, I know I sinned, I messed up, forgive me. People were shaming him on the road, saying, you jerk, right? You jerk. And David's fellow followers who stayed with him, they wanted to kill the guy who's calling him bad names. And David's like, look, perhaps God inspired him to make fun of me. And you know what? I haven't been perfect. I've done some terrible things. And if it's God's will to make me feel ashamed, then you know what? I take it. Because like I've been saying on the show, like I said in the last show and the show before, you got to understand, whether you're going through good times or bad times, all is to the glory of God. The glory of God is the concealed thing. It's all to finding out the truth of who you are and finding out that you're more than you know, which is the slogan of the show that I talk about. You're more than you know. So as Absalom, it wasn't enough that his dad was on the run. Absalom, Ahithophel comes up to him. He says, you know what? You should shame your dad. Go sleep with all of his concubines. Go up on the roof. Go wherever he sees you in Jerusalem or wherever it was, right? And just go, have a big party with all of your father's concubines. That's right, David, just so you know, right? Everybody with the biblical marriage. David had a bunch of wives, and David had a bunch of concubines, okay? So yeah, I don't have concubines. I got one wife. I love my wife very, very, very much. She's the best. I don't need any more. Just saying, biblical marriage, what are you going to do? It's a picture because we all kind of connect ourselves to other things. So David had a lot of concubines, right? So if you take that spiritually speaking, David had a lot of problems. He had a lot of false beliefs. He was thinking the wrong way, right? And Absalom's like, I'm going to take him. I'm going to bring him up there and I'm going to show everybody how I'm the man. It's a little gross, right? But he does it. Ahithophel was the guy who told him to do that. Same guy who said, take 12,000 men and go after your father. Well, here's the thing, okay? I'm going to cut to the chase with the story because this is getting long. In the end, Absalom ends up dying. He ends up dying. His hair, the glory, right? The glory, the pride, that's actually what cost him. It's ironic as he's like running away from David's forces as they came to, balance the equation and right the wrong and bring the true kingdom back after David learned his lesson from Absalom's rule, which is what we're entering into. It would be interesting because, as I'm thinking of the story, I go, how funny would it be, right? Donald Trump gets another 4 years, and then right after that, you see Kushner come in. And maybe Kushner, after 4 years of Donald, he kind of comes in through flatteries and everything else, and next thing you know, he's the guy, and then there's the guy. I got a video on it. I'm not saying that's the case, but he did come to mind because you could see it that way. Donald Trump loves Jared Kushner, right? Loves him. It's like this guy's, and see, Absalom was loved by David. Absalom got his power. You know how he got his power? Because he became one of the judges in the land. He became one of the people that made the deals. Kind of like Jared Kushner. Now, I'm not saying that Jared's Absalom, and I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. If it does happen, it wasn't me, because I don't know. The thought came to me. I'll say that it's God. See, I can't pat myself on the back. I don't have long enough hair for that. Absalom's hair cost him his life. He got caught up in an oak. He was caught up between heaven and earth. Such symbolism, right? Such symbolism. You got that Absalom spirit in your heart, right? Are you going about things the wrong way? Are you trying to get that position at work by flattery, saying, "Hey, if I got that job, I wouldn't do that"? Are you doing it the wrong way? Are you manipulating? You trying to turn people against? You trying to force the kingdom? Because there was a time when the kingdom was taken by force, and that's what Absalom did, and that's what's happening right now. Right? Right now, Absalom's already taken the kingdom. Absalom's in charge. The Antichrist is in charge. This is the day that we're in. I've been talking about this day of darkness, right? Where it's going to get really impressive in this last couple of whatever. Now, do I know that for a fact? No. But if I look at everything, if I look at the picture, I know. I'm pretty sure. And as I was debating, coming on here and saying, should I title it The Reign of Absalom has begun, or is the end of Absalom has come? It's Absalom's now going to come, like I've been talking about, right? The cathedral that went down, where the saints were taken out, they were beheaded, and they were showcased, right? Those statues, right? They were going off for restoration. Restoration is coming, but persecution is coming as well. We're seeing that in journalism everywhere, from Assange to what just happened in Australia to other places. Absalom. Got to get over Absalom. We need to move on to perfection. We need to love. We need to forgive. We need to do good in the world. And I hope that each and every one of you do good from here on out. And I love you guys so much and gals so much. I love all of you. Thank you for coming by. Don't forget to subscribe, share the videos around, tell your friends. I hope you learned a little story. If you want to learn more about it, just go to, like I always tell people, use Bible Experience. I don't get paid by them. I don't have any app or anything. I go to YouTube. Bible Experience, listen to 2 Samuel. It's a cool book. And, maybe you'll see that these stories from the Old Testament and the New Testament and all the other books that we read, that perhaps there's nothing new under the sun, like it says in Ecclesiastes. All right. Bye-bye. Love you. Gotta go.
Thanks for watching Jacob Israel. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and share this channel around. If these shows have helped you, help Jacob to reach more any way you can, and have the best day ever.